I'm just excited to have our guest today, and even to say that is an understatement. This fellow is nonstop. To say he's beyond a busy man would also be a major departure from reality. But amidst all this, he is driven to help all boats rise. And this is what I find particularly fantastic about so many of our guests and co-hosts on the show. They want everybody to rise. They know that no one person can do it by himself. No one company can do it by themselves. It takes all of us working together. And boy, I tell you, New Mexico's got such a great future, and we have to all rise together, not just a certain segment of the population. So, amidst all this, he's the CEO and founder of one of Colorado's top real estate companies, Northstar Commercial Partners, and yet the CEO and founder of the explosively successful Opportunity Coalition. And to say I'm excited would be a trifecta of understatement. So without any more sequential or non-sequential chit-chat here, Brian Watson, welcome to the jungle.
Well, thank you, Garrett. I'm honored to be here with you today.
Okay, well, you even have your fans down here, so good going. I think that was a flight that's coming in full of your full of your fans. All right, so we got them coming on trains and buses and everything. I hope we can take care of them. I hope none of them go away disappointed, but certainly not in the show. So, Brian Watson, on my show, goodness gracious. Now, just take a moment, if you don't mind. There's a foundational reason I've been so excited to have you on the jungle. Your life, your business accomplishments, and your nonstop involvement in Opportunity Coalition is certainly in line with the jungle. We're a state that's last in too many categories, and there's not a single New Mexican who isn't fed up. New Mexico is filled with tremendously capable people and super children, and we all believe that we're entitled to every opportunity that every other citizen and child has in any other state. We have natural resources that in certain cases are second to none, and we have what it takes. We want to make it happen. We believe that no matter no matter what the obstacle, we can overcome it. But foundational to what we're all about, Brian, is that we believe that no mother in this state should have to either not go to the grocery store or hesitate in going to the grocery store and be tentative about it, or when she's at the grocery store to question herself a million times before she actually gets to the checkout line. We believe every one of us here is economic developers and human jumper cables, and we're all armed with a dream. We can't wait for any entity to make it happen for us. The Jungle is a program that deeply believes in the human initiative. But Brian, in so many areas, you epitomize exactly what every show we're trying to get across, because at the very bottom of it all is people are motivated by people, not by things. And so when I have my guest on, I say, tell us about you, but then we'll talk about your accomplishments and about your dreams and your vision. And sure enough, there's going to be somebody out there that's going to say, I was listening to that Brian guy, and if he can do it, I can sure do it. So so if we don't mind, can we start off and hear a little bit about the Brian Watson story?
You bet. Well, and again, I appreciate being on your show today. And I came from very humble means in a very small town. I grew up on the western slope of Colorado and graduated with about 50 kids. But I grew up in a family that taught me about blessings of life and working hard and trying to benefit others. And my family were also entrepreneurs. My dad was in construction, so I got to learn real estate literally from the ground up, swinging a hammer. And back when you used to swing a hammer versus using a nail gun, I guess like a lot of people do today. But really enjoyed being in the western slope and appreciation for agriculture and the outdoors and hunting. Got the opportunity to go to an in-state college and got a degree in real estate, and then founded my first company 15 years ago, which is Northstar Commercial Partners. At Northstar, we really focus on creating opportunity for others. I just happen to be a real estate guy, but I figured out how can I benefit others and how can I connect my passions with my profession. And my passions are creating jobs and opportunity for others so that they can go achieve their dreams. And the way that we do it at Northstar is I am the main buyer in and around Denver and a lot of Colorado. for buying vacant buildings that people have overlooked and given up on. And we go buy those buildings and we improve them. And then we have companies locate in them to create jobs and opportunity for the citizens of Colorado. And we also do it all throughout the country.
Well, now, so and you started this company, and by the way, looking on your website, see, I've heard about these buildings, I think in the past, but boy, the two buildings that you guys have and you've bought and turned around, and they're just gorgeous. That Cherry Creek 1 and 2. So you always use somebody or some company's accomplishments kind of as a stick by which to measure the value of the company. And I tell you, those are two beautiful examples of what I think what you guys are all about at Northstar. We're going to get some other things that you guys are doing too in conjunction with the coalition, Opportunity Coalition. But so congratulations on those. And anything big coming along just in the commercial real estate part of things?
You bet. Well, you mentioned those two buildings, and that's a prime example. During the down economy, the worst real estate recession in 80 years, a company was located in one of those buildings, about a 200,000-foot building, and 1,200 jobs were lost. They took those jobs and moved them out of that area, which really affected that community in Aurora, Colorado. And we went in and bought that building vacant back when people were really scared of the economy and what was going on. But I believed in Aurora and the people of Aurora. We bought that building vacant, and now we've brought that building up to about 93% occupancy with 5 different companies and brought back, about a little over 1,000 jobs to that location, which has a ripple effect for the community, and that's really what we do. We're working on a large portfolio right now around the country where, we're buying 27 buildings in different markets, and we'll be going in and improving them, and that portfolio is about 50% occupied. And the goal would be is to create those jobs in those different communities all throughout America.
And so, that's no small thing, is to create a building with 93% occupancy with just 5 companies. You got to get out there and hustle. That's, because I've had that experience before, and it's not easy to convince these monster companies they got to come into your building versus some other building. So, you got kind of the golden touch in that respect too.
Well, you know what? We start with, we first buy a building at the right price, and then we improve it and spend money on it and getting improved. It might be new paint, carpet, create those construction jobs. And then after that, we really work hard to attract those companies. They know that we're a holder and a group that wants to invest in the community and will be a good landlord for them. So in that case, we secure it as one of our larger tenants, ADT Security. And so all of their security for, home and residential, areas are handled out of that building as one example. But, whoever it is, we just work hard, and we're the kind of people that if we look you in the eye and cut a deal with you, we're going to make it happen.
Well, I think it's exciting just reading about Northstar, and I know we're going to get on to Opportunity Coalition and the great things that's going on there, but also my listeners want to hear about companies like Northstar and what they're doing. And the inspiration comes from anywhere, and not everybody's going to want to do the things that I might do in conjunction with my business, or that you're doing in conjunction with Northstar. But then again, the Northstar story may rev them up. So. Brian, if you'll hold on, we're going to go to a break right now, and when we come back, we're gonna get into all the rest of it, and there's plenty there. This is Garrett Robinson, your host, along with the great Brian Watson, CEO of Northstar Commercial Partners and Opportunity Coalition. We'll be right back. And we're back. This is Garrett Robinson, the host of The Jungle, and I'm joined with Brian Watson, the CEO and founder of Northstar Commercial Properties and Partners, and also the CEO and founder of Opportunity Coalition, and all this is happening up in Colorado. Colorado, Brian, is really experiencing an explosion, and the states all around us. Texas, my brother's a builder in Dallas, and we got friends in Phoenix, of course, and boy, there's not much crane space going on in Dallas, and I heard in Denver's the same way. So you guys are just taking it by the tail here.
Yeah, definitely. The economy has improved, up here. There's still, a good part that still needs to improve. But, I think Colorado has really positioned itself well with, training for its people, also helping with the, development of the energy industry. I think that's a big driver. But there's still a whole lot of work that needs to be done, and specifically, trying to keep government at bay like in any other place around the country. But things are trending in the right direction so far.
I getting into Opportunity Coalition, I just jotted some things down that I thought were essential and very telling about the organization itself. And by the way, I've Googled the coalition, and a mutual friend of ours, of course, was instrumental in originally getting us together. And I think it's just everything I read is really exciting and encouraging and inspiring to me. But the coalition promotes and facilitates a business-friendly environment that encourages free enterprise, entrepreneurship, and its intent is to create more opportunity, quality employment, and connections for Colorado citizens. And one other, it was created specifically for business owners, executives, entrepreneurs, and leaders. And the Opportunity Coalition, it strives to help people succeed in today's economy. And it provides leadership again and collaboration and support to help grow businesses and to create a vital economy. All these things are exactly what needs to take place in any environment. So my hat's really off to you guys. So let's get into Opportunity Coalition. How'd that start, and what's the input on that?
You bet. Well, I founded the Opportunity Coalition a little over a year ago. And the reason I did is, as I said, I came from the western slope of Colorado, a small little town. And Colorado is really divided into 4 different sections. There's the western slope, there's the mountain region, there's the front range where Denver and a lot of the metropolitan areas are, and then there's the eastern plains. And unfortunately, a lot of those people don't necessarily connect with each other as much as they should. And so I was blessed and fortunate with just knowing a lot of good people. And so I founded the Opportunity Coalition, where we have a speaker come in once a month, somebody who's had, success in different areas. And they share their golden nuggets of wisdom. What have they learned, and how might that apply to somebody else? And then I also do a podcast that's on iTunes that people can listen to great interviews from around the country of different people that have had success, whether it be politics or academia or wherever it may be, and business, and to figure out how we can create more jobs, more opportunity, and more bridges of understanding between people. And already new companies have been started, new initiatives have been put forth, and it really just comes down to, getting good quality people together in the same room, breaking down barriers and building bridges together. And I think some real special things happen when you do that.
What other, in what you just said about how you're bringing everybody together, is essential because, as we know, as you grow up, you realize that some of these guys, these old country guys, or the guys sitting down there and reminiscing about the old days in Leadville, and they've got a lot to teach these brand new spanking boys up in Denver, and the same with the guys on their porch that are reminiscing about the old days of Tyrone when we were Copper Kings, and they can sure teach us guys here in Santa Fe a thing or two. So, and you guys, the Opportunity Coalition promotes the ideals of free markets, capitalism, constitutional values, and liberty, and has the potential to catalyze opportunity for you, your business, communities, and our state. And, just bringing everybody together because, everybody plays their part. And for you guys to recognize that, I think is really fundamental and essential. So congratulations on that.
Well, I appreciate that. And again, whatever one's political affiliation, whether Democrat, unaffiliated, Republican, whatever you are, there are some fundamental things that are special about our country. Things like the Constitution, things like free markets, and the ability to go out and make something of your life, and to do that within your own lifetime and to achieve your dreams, whatever that looks like for you. And I think, unfortunately, there's some people out there who are constantly complaining and constantly beating up America and beating up American, people. And I really believe that at the end of the day, it's really about creating that opportunity and having them go out and to achieve those dreams by working together. We've got a lot of great things going on. Those things should be celebrated. We got a lot of things we got to work on, and I think we can work on them together.
Absolutely, absolutely. We have a certain segment of our population here in New Mexico. It's small, but it's rather vocal, that encourages the idea that we were destined to be mediocre, and that mediocrity is just fine. And there's actually people here in our state that think that there's some nobility in being last. And there's a growing wave of people here in the state that just aren't going to put up with that anymore. We're not going to take it. We all want the best for ourselves and our kids again, and we're gonna make sure this happens. And so that's why I think there's so much synergy in what we're doing and we're trying to accomplish here, and we are actually accomplishing. We have people that are now showing up in New Mexico with a whole bunch of money, and they're spending it, and that equates to a bunch of jobs. So that's exciting. We're coming on the radar of a lot of companies, and rightfully so. So now, what you've had some great speakers that have come to present at Opportunity Coalition. Particularly, I thought it was interesting that the fellow that was in the diamond business, and I thought it was really interesting. And I've told the story so many times since I read that about his the whole premise in the diamond business is that you only have one chance. You only get one chance to mess up, and also the fellow that started XJet. What an incredible guy. I've read about him in the business magazine. So you've really you're not in the guy that's the head of CU university system. So gosh, that alone must be exciting.
Well, yeah, a couple things on that. First, about your comment about living a mediocre life. Well, my belief is that whatever life somebody wants to live, they should be empowered to be able to do that. The problem is when there's others who tell you how you have to live and tell you that you have to have a mediocre life.
Exactly.
That's unacceptable. You should be able to go achieve your dream and what it looks like for you, and not be held back by another's thoughts on what they think your life should be. But, with regard to the Opportunity Coalition, we create videos, little snippets, where those golden nuggets of wisdom are shared, and people can go online to theopportunitycoalition.com, and they can listen to those speakers. They don't have to be in Colorado. They could be anywhere on the planet and garner this wisdom. We also do the full recording, as well as the entire event. And we want to share that information because you're right, everybody has their different experiences, and to learn from them and to be encouraged by them and to figure out, how does this apply to my life? Yes, this guy is in the diamond industry and, doing deals wherever he may do deals, but how does it apply to my grocery store? Or how does it apply to, my interactions, working on a ranch or whatever somebody is doing? And I really do believe that it's just a wealth of information that can be very beneficial to a lot of people.
I tell, when I first started my radio show, I actually made up this scenario where I said, I want people to listen to these guys and gals we bring on the show, and somebody be inspired to jump up off the couch and say, yeah, all right, that did it. I'm going after it. And so I made up this story about this guy that been sitting on the couch, and he needed to get going. He needed to be inspired. He just needed to bust a move, and he wanted to be in the hauling business, and he needed a dump truck just to get started. And he had lots of business, and he thought he could really knock them dead, but for the truck, and then somebody gave him an opportunity to have that truck. So I was talking to my friend Ray, and he said, Garrett, that's Tony DeMarco in Las Vegas. That's exactly him. For 6 months, he'd pick his wife up at her job. He didn't have one, and they drive home and they go by this car dealership, and they had a dump truck out there. And he'd remark on the dump truck, and the wife, of course, would say, "Well, get in there, go talk to him, see what he would make a deal." Say, "Oh no, I know he's going to want cash. He's not going to finance. That's not what those guys do." So 6 months went by, and every day he'd go by there and long for that truck, and didn't do it. Finally, he heard somebody say something, so he jumped up off the couch. Not me, but he jumped off the couch, went in there, talked to the guy, said, "Listen, I'd really like to have this truck. I know I'm not qualified. My credit's no good." He said, "But I tell you, I got an ability to make money, and I need that truck." And the guy says, "Well," he said, obviously I haven't sold it." He said, "So what's your plan?" And so he gave him this easy payment plan with a balloon at the end. And so now Tony DeMarco's in business, and he's got 4 other trucks, and he's, 25 people he's got working for him. So it's just incredible the way that happens, isn't it?
It is, and I always tell people, listen to that inner voice that you have inside of you, because you just never know. And a lot of the time, it's just having the courage to get up and just ask. and it doesn't hurt to ask. And the worst thing somebody could do is say no. But I really do believe that when you're listening to that voice and you're trying to go out and create, a positive impact, good things happen. It's not always going to happen, but at least you're trying. And I think the worst thing of all in life is not to try at all and to just give up. And I think there's just too many great things to accomplish and too many people to help and bless and impact. And just listen to that voice and just go take that chance.
I'm going to ask you another question in just a minute after we get back from our break. It's something that my wife and I were talking about this morning, and it's a good lesson for me, a very good lesson. It's a good lesson for my boys, too. This is Garrett Robinson, the host. You've been listening to The Jungle on 101.5 FM, KVSF, the voice of Santa Fe, streaming live all over the world on santafe.com. And I'm here with Brian Watson, and we're going to be right back. And you're back on The Jungle. This is Garrett Robinson, your host, along with my special guest, Brian Watson, CEO, Opportunity Coalition, and also CEO and founder of Northstar Commercial Partners in Colorado, and in and around Denver and just about everywhere. Those guys are exploding in all directions. Before we left, I mentioned something, Brian. I'll just be very quick about it because we want to hear about what you're doing, not about what I'm doing. But my little boys grew up in a fourth world country, and I remember right in the very middle of a fourth world country, the poorest country in the hemisphere, and we lived in the middle of it. And I had my project, and so many days I'd come home and I would just be completely discouraged, thinking that everybody's against me, the whole government's against me, and woe is me, and nothing I do is making a lot of difference, even though our whole program down there was to get people jobs. We didn't give away anything. Everybody got a paycheck, and we exploded the economy. We turned it completely around. But, I was just down on myself and thinking that it was all for nothing. So I was talking to my supervisor, who's now is gone to school back here in the country, in the U.S., and now is back running for mayor, actually, of the town. And he said that, the one thing that during his campaign, he asked the people what they'd want to happen in the future for him, and they said, they want Mr. Garrett to come back. So and I told my wife I was so ashamed of myself because I'm the one that actually took my hand off the shoulder of the Lord. He never took it off the shoulder of me, but and by doing so, I've really done some disservices. So I really herald the way you keep on, Brian. You don't give it up, and you just you're headlong into making this all happen. And I really encourage you to keep going. So now, could you tell us a little bit about this building? And you've always got an angle. It seems like when there's a purpose for each building, and well, there should be. But oftentimes the purchase of these edifices, these buildings that you acquire, also has there's an ulterior motive, and it's they're good motives. And one building that you acquired was for the encouragement of entrepreneurship from African Americans. And I thought, wow, I don't know where that's happened out west here like this. So could you tell us about that? Would you mind?
Absolutely. Well, one of the buildings that I bought was we buy a lot of lender-owned properties that, REO properties that the lenders have given up on and foreclosed on. And so, I bought a building down in the Denver Tech Center, and the Innovation Pavilion was founded there, and bought that from a lender. And over 80 new companies were founded at the Innovation Pavilion in the last year and a half. The youngest entrepreneurs in middle school and the oldest entrepreneurs in their 80s, and everything in between. And I love buying buildings that we can create business incubators for people to go try their new business and try to make that impact. Through that process, I met some gentlemen from the African immigrant community, and they, for 7 years, were working to have their own facility where they could create an environment where entrepreneurs could thrive and they could showcase cultural aspects of Africa. And for 7 years, they worked on it, and they met me through the Innovation Pavilion deal. And I went out and found a building for them on East Colfax where a lot of people wouldn't invest in Denver. It's a more economically challenged area. And I believed in these people. I believed in their heart, and I believed in their mission and their work ethic. These are people that sacrificed everything to come to America for the American dream. And so we came alongside them and bought this vacant building, a dilapidated building, and we're spending the money to fix it up. And they're creating the Afric Mall in it, and there's going to be a cultural center in there that you can learn about the, African, all kinds of different African cultures. There'll be a food court where you can try food from all around different parts of Africa, and that food's going to be cooked with a lot of love by the people that are in there. And then there'll be a mall with all kinds of different African products and businesses. And then there's a business incubator as well where new entrepreneurs can come in and help go chase down that American dream.
Yeah. Wow. So, what are some of the businesses that have popped up out of that thing?
Well, there's 150,000 African immigrants within a few mile radius of this building, and that's just in Denver. And you think about the different immigrant communities all through this country, and so we'll be looking at doing, other deals with them or other causes throughout the country. But we work a lot with municipalities where we'll come in and do these type of deals. But within the space right now, there's everything from an African grocery store. A lot of these Africans have certain spices and things that they want for their cooking, and you can't find in your traditional grocery store. There's a cell phone guy. There's a woman who has a bead company. And then they have one of the most exciting things is an event center. In the African community, they don't just have a wedding for an hour, as maybe some traditional American weddings might be. They celebrate for a day and sometimes 2 or 3 days. And so they now have an event center for whether it's weddings or funerals or anything in between, that they could have that there. And so it's very exciting that they can have their own center, promote their culture, but also yet embrace the American culture and creating that opportunity.
Yeah, it just really seemed unique and essential and exciting. And I'm sure the people are embracing that in that area and up in the Denver area. Is that where it is, in Denver?
It is in Denver, yeah. And if you're ever up in the area, let me take you to lunch, and we'll go there. And I'm excited. One of my favorite foods is Ethiopian food, for instance, and the ability to go in there and try Ethiopian food or food from the Ivory Coast or Ghana or wherever it might be. Each one of them have their own different types of cooking and styles. And I'm really excited to see what those differences will be, and I'm looking forward to get some great meals there.
Oh, and they dress so colorfully, and I know I'm preaching to the choir here, but what's so incredible about these people is that they have a smile on their face. They're going through some unbelievable trials on a daily basis, and that, of course, we haven't spoken about the Ebola situation in West Africa, but just on a daily basis, they go through so much that as Americans we couldn't even believe having to get up every morning and scramble just at the end of the day to get mom and the rice she needs that she's collected the sticks for, to heat it up and feed the kids, and then they start all over the next day, and yet they have this smile on their face, this inner I guess it's inner peace and happiness that it's just it's really a testament to these beautiful people from all over the world, and certainly in Africa. So what anything else you guys are? Who's going to be next in your who's going to be the next presenter at Opportunity Coalition?
Well, I'll just touch base with what you just said. I've been blessed to travel a good part, south of the equator around the world. And I will agree with you that a lot of these people may not have a lot of material things, but they have that inner peace, and they have their priorities, and they have this love about them. And, I think, again, to embrace them and to create that opportunity, I think is a very special thing to do. We just had last night a speaker at the Opportunity Coalition. We had the president of the University of Colorado college system, Bruce Benson. He's been a successful entrepreneur, but went ahead and became the president a number of years ago. And they have 58,000 students and a $3.3 billion annual budget. And he came in last night and shared his thoughts and ideas of what it's like to help run a college system at that level. Our next presenters, we're bringing in some different bankers, because all of us have been affected by the down economy and the banking regulations, and to talk about that, see how that impacts people. And one of the most excited that I'm looking forward to is Jake Jabs. He's the founder of American Furniture Warehouse, which is one of the largest, furniture companies, residential furniture companies in the nation, and he'll be coming in December. We also, as part of our ticket cost, we pay $20 what it costs to attend the event. Half of that usually goes to the food and beverage, and the other half goes to donate to a good charitable organization. Well, we're going to take 100% of the profits, not profits, but the ticket sales from December, and that's going to be given for the Toys for Tots program, as well as some battered women's shelters and some other things, and really to try to have a positive impact in our community here in the Colorado area.
I started to make a list of everything you're involved in personally, and your organizations are, and all the incredible people you've got around you that are making this thing happen. And I finally just gave up. I thought, it's only an hour show. So
You're too kind.
Really, and I figured, well, he'll mention some of them, and then people are going to go on your website and they're going to find out about you themselves, because there's probably very few people out here that aren't going to tap that website to find out more about you guys. But I know I want to get to these education part of what you're doing. I know there's some exciting things there, and also the entrepreneurship and again, to wrap up with the business environment. But we're going to take a break right now, Brian, and we'll be right back. This is Garrett Robinson, The Jungle. I'm here with Brian Watson, and we'll be right back. And we're back. You're on The Jungle. Garrett Robinson. I'm here with Brian Watson, CEO and founder of Northstar Commercial Partners, and of course the great Opportunity Coalition, which has marked a big part of our time together here, Brian. But and I know we want to get to the education. I mean, this thing I hear, this $100 million fund for charter schools. Wow. I mean, that's, some people are just against this charter school thing. Like there's no tomorrow, but there's no denying that they have some pretty remarkable track records.
Well, I'm a public school kid, and I believe in our public school system. It's one of the great things of our country. At the same time, I'm a big believer in making sure we empower parents and children with choice and competition in the system. Competition makes things better. And, most people forget is that charter schools are public schools. They're just a different form of public schools. And so at Northstar, we're doing our part where we're going out and buying, vacant buildings, dilapidated buildings, office, industrial, and retail buildings, and converting them over into school uses for charter schools. And we're working with 10 different charter schools in Colorado, finding those facilities. Mostly at Northstar, I buy buildings at sub, 30 or 40% of the replacement cost value because I'm buying vacant. And we're going out and through this fund that we're launching, which is a brand new fund of its kind, to really promote education and educational opportunities. To me, this is one of our civil rights issues of our day. We have to get education right in America. It is a great vehicle of empowerment for opportunity for our citizens, and we need to empower parents with that choice to put their children in the best environment where their child is going to thrive.
Absolutely, absolutely, and through this show, we're trying to educate those that don't see the connection between education and economic growth. It's an absolute, definitive connection. You can't really have one without the other, or you can't have one can't be a mighty one without the other. They go hand in hand, and of course we're not doing so well in the education ladder, but we're making some strides. We got some real exciting people doing some exciting things, and of course along with the public schools, getting better and better, and the charter schools, we're giving our kids some opportunities where pretty soon we're gonna have to apologize to anybody if they want to bring their company to New Mexico. Boy, they're gonna have to look for some other reason not to.
Well, you bring up a great point. Education is that great empowerment vehicle, and it affects everything from jobs and an opportunity and attracting new company. But it also literally will affect the fabric of our country and freedom. You have to have an educated people in order to make good and proper decisions as it relates to government and a host of other things. And we just think it's absolutely imperative that you go about this and trying to create that opportunity. I tell people all the time, the wealthy in our country already have educational choice. They can afford to move to the school district or the state or wherever it is that they want to move to go ahead and put their kids in those school environments. They can also afford private school at the end of the day. But everybody else is caught in the current system. And I'm all for teachers and I'm all for educational options, but we've got to build in competition. We've got to build in choice. We have choice in all other aspects of our life. We should have it in education as well.
Absolutely, absolutely, and I'm glad you pointed that out. I'm glad we were able to cover that during this time we're spending together. And I think people in New Mexico are starting to come around to the importance of focusing on this. We just can't languish anymore at the bottom. We've got to get serious about this. All our kids, as you know, Brian, all our kids, no matter who they are, whether they're rich kids or, kids that are struggling and families that are broken, whatever, they're all looking out that window and watching this world, this incredibly exciting world hurtle by. They want a piece of it. And it's incumbent upon us to give them that piece, to give them that opportunity to go out and grab onto it with both hands on both horns and just ride it till they can't ride it anymore. And or if they choose not to, they choose not to. But it's very very encouraging to hear you guys are certainly thinking the same way. And I herald that, and I encourage you to keep that up full force. And we're all wishing all the great success that could possibly come your way. We can talk about on the whole entrepreneurship. I know we've touched on it throughout, but anything particular that jumps up at you, even if we need to repeat something?
Well, I'll tell you a few things. First of all, I really appreciate other entrepreneurs. I know how hard it is because I'm one of them. And, there's a lot of cards stacked against you. And whether you're starting out and just employing yourself or you have the opportunity to employ others, it's a great and wonderful road to travel. And it's a hard road to travel, but it's well worth it. And I'm always out trying to help different entrepreneurs in any way that we can. You can learn a lot about our different initiatives on my website at brianwatson.us, and whether it be the Education Fund or Opportunity Coalition or the host of other things that we're trying to work on, it's on there. There's also some inspirational videos and ideas on there for entrepreneurs, and we want to be a resource. We buy assets around the country, and, Santa Fe and New Mexico. I've hunted down in New Mexico and spent time down there, and you have a wonderful, beautiful state. And, wherever I could help, I'd be happy to help the people of New Mexico, and whether that means we help buy a building and create a business incubator or help with a school or who knows what could happen, whether it's Colorado or New Mexico, we are here to help, and that's what we want to do. So, again, you can learn more at brianwatson.us with regards to those things.
How'd you get that website? brianwatson.us? Really? Is that, what do you have to do to get that?
I don't know. It's just out there, and I guess there's nobody had it, so I thought it'd be one collection for all the different things that we're doing, and people can go on there. There's even the Education Opportunity Fund. We also have an empowerment fund where we're taking part of the profits from that education fund, and we're investing it into teacher and administration training for scholarships for kids and a host of other things to really help move the needle with education. My parents told me when I was young, Brian, you'll be a blessed man if you can count yourself one good friend in life, and you can bless one life for the better. And if you can do more than that, great. That's not a measuring stick, but go out and try to do that. And so, we've been very fortunate and blessed, and we want to just help bless others and come alongside them and walk that road with them wherever we can.
Well, you're certainly walking the talk. And just one more time. So if they go to www or just brianwatson.us, they can learn about Opportunity Coalition and Northstar and everything else you're doing just right off that one website?
It's all on there. And it's brianwatson.us. And we just thought one place for collection would be good. We also, my foundation is outlined on there. I'm always looking to try to figure out how we can, again, help others through the foundation. And so we're always looking to give money to different nonprofits and organizations that we can help bless and to help make that impact. So it's all in one location. And then there's even, as I said, some videos and things on there that people can listen to. And, we don't have all the answers. We're learning just like everybody else is. But, our goal is to try to take some of our lessons and try to help others along that process.
Well, you're certainly doing it. You're living it. You're walking the talk, Brian, and I want to congratulate you. So I'm sure next time you'll come back, I hope you will. Give us an update. You'll have Brian Watson .American or something like that. But anyhow, congratulations on everything you're doing. And I encourage all my listeners to check this out, brianwatson.us, and let's get behind these guys. Let's emulate them. I mean, Brian's one of these magnanimous guys that wants all the boats to rise. So, Brian, thank you for being on the show. Hope you'll come back. This is Garrett Robinson, your host, The Jungle, 101.5 FM, KVSF, the voice of Santa Fe, streaming live on SantaFe.com. And don't forget, make your dream come true. Bust a move, go after it, or help somebody else make their dream come true. Until next week.